Hey there guys, it's DJ Slope here from Slope's Game Room, and we're here for February's Q&A, so we'll get straight into it. Okay, so number one from Taylor Almond. Ever since I got back into retro video games, I've noticed that Europe really seemed to miss out on some great games back in the 8 to 16-bit eras. Do you remember yourself or your friends being mad when a game was released in the States and Japan but skipping the PAL territories? Or did you and your friends not really pay much attention? Thanks for all the great content you create, man. Okay, so the games that come to mind originally was Golden Axe 3. I remember seeing that when I was a kid on the Mega Drive, and oh my god, I need that new Golden Axe game. I mean, thankfully the game was actually not that great at all. And yeah, that one never come out in the UK. Obviously, I've now played it, and I mean, I haven't got any kind of attachment to it, obviously, because I didn't play it back in the day. Maybe that's why I don't like it as much, but I think it's widely known to be quite a bad game. What else was there? Space Channel 5 Part 2. Yep, I was pretty upset about that originally because it did come out in the PAL territories, but it didn't come out in the UK, and originally I didn't know that you couldn't, that you could still play that on your PlayStation 2. Eventually I got it, and yep, it was a great purchase, but no, I think they're the only two that I can think of, because now I will just import the games anyway. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think they're the two that I can think of. Although I always remember my American friends that used to come and stay with us sometimes when I was a kid, loving Asterix on the Mega Drive, on the Master System. And yeah, sorry, we got that one. Question number 2 from Tim Labonte from Standstill Pictures. Loaded question. In grade school, my friends and I would come up with video game ideas, draw out levels, create characters. Have you ever designed a game or concept for fun? And if not, what kind of game would you take a stab at? Me and my friends used to play around like you say you did back when we was at school, and try and put games together in the library sometimes, and we didn't really go very far with it. I don't think we spent that much time on it. Like, all we'd really do is just draw guns. I think, if I remember correctly, it was sort of a top-down game, like a Loaded or a Reloaded, and I still love those games, so that would be cool if I could, you know, see another game like that. Loaded, actually, and Reloaded with proper up-to-date analog controls would be really, really good. So yeah, something along those lines. It was futuristic sci-fi looking. I don't know much else. Nowadays though, my number one game that I would want to make is a nice Metroidvania, Castlevania, Metroid sort of game. I would use something like Ori and the Blind Forest as an example of what I'd want to copy. That sort of game absolutely blew me away. I'd want to make a game a bit more like that, you know, completely exploring a world but on a 2D plane. That's definitely my sort of game, so that's the sort of game that I would create nowadays. Question number 3, and this one's from Ian. Ian asks, have you ever read Ready Player One or have intentions to see the film? Yes, I haven't read Ready Player One. I listened to it on audio tape. Yeah, it's quite good. I thought it was alright. I felt like the book, obviously I listened to it, but I felt like the book sort of dragged on a bit towards the end of the story. At first I was like amazed by all the, you know, the Atari 2600 references right at the beginning. So yeah, and yeah, I'm definitely going to watch the film, although I do remember I haven't looked it up for a very long time, since I was reading it I suppose, but I remember it was Steven Spielberg that said he was going to make it, and he wasn't going to have the DeLorean in the film, so instantly I'm disappointed with that movie. But that's my dream car, by the way, a done up like Back to the Future DeLorean. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it, and I'm definitely going to get all excited when, oh my god, that's a reference to that, and oh my god, look, they're talking about adventure, and you know. So yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it, and yes, I have read the book. Question number 4, and this one comes from Gav2K30. My first console was the original Master System, the one with Alex Kidd built in and the card slot. My mother bought it off her auntie's boyfriend, who had the original Mega Drive at this point. My question is, have you ever played or ever owned these great games I got with my system? Number 1, Rastan, a fantastic Taito arcade port that got really hard at the end. 2, Transbot, a kind of take on the Transformers shooter, which I loved. And 3, Cloudmaster, my absolute favourite out of these 3, as it was my first look at the Japanese style gaming and culture in my life. So, me and Gav have actually been speaking recently on Skype, and we actually brought these games up already. And so, Gav, I mean, you already know, but the answer to all three of them is I didn't play them back in the day, and the only one that I have played is Transbot. In actual fact, I didn't know of Rastan and Cloudmaster. But with that said, I have been doing a little bit of research on both of them, and I have now played Rastan, and that's quite a cool little game. I'm going to definitely play Cloudmaster, because both of those games seem to have quite a cool history, and they've had quite a lot of games come out after them. I think Cloudmaster actually has a Wii game come out, like that's the latest game in that, and it's sort of a shoot 'em up, a flying shoot 'em up from the side, you know, that sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, those sort of games I'm all about. So a nice Wii version of an old game like that is really gonna, you know, pique my interest. And if I do play them and I like them, very likely you're gonna see like a complete history on that sort of thing. Would you guys be interested if I did a complete history on, Rastan or Cloudmaster? Yeah. And question number 5. This one is again from Ian. And are there any classic games you prefer playing with the cheats enabled? And do you listen to any podcasts? Yes, absolutely. So the cheats question there, the game that I don't think I've ever played it, maybe by accident and then resetting the console and going back, but I don't think I've ever played Revenge of Shinobi without the infinite shurikens cheat. So where you go to the sound test menu, where you go to the options menu, you go to the shurikens, you put it to 0, you leave it there for, I think it's like 10 or 20 seconds, and it changes to an infinity symbol. And actually, I think I found that out by accident, because I remember going through and seeing if I, trying to put the most I could put on there, and as you go all the way up, it flips back round to 0, and I'm like, how would you ever play the game with 0 shurikens? I think I ran off to tell, I was about 7 or 8 at the time, so I ran off to go tell my mum, and by the time I come back, I'm like, that's not a 0 symbol, and there you go. Literally straight away. And I think that's the first time I ever played it, and I don't think I've ever played it since without the shurikens. So, yeah, that's one. What else is there cheat-wise? I pretty much, if I ever go back and play the original GTA games, which I'm playing a lot of at the moment for an upcoming complete history, if I play the earlier GTA games, like GTA 1, the GTA 2, the London games, sometimes free as well, those games I tend to play with the cheats on. I think that's quite a lot more fun. But then I think the very later GTA games, like GTA 5 and 4 to a degree, they're a lot more fun to play without the cheats. That's like perfectly refined gameplay. So yeah, early GTA games, and definitely Revenge of Shinobi. And yeah, what was the other part of his question? Do I listen to any podcasts? Yes, I listen to Game Over Greggy from time to time. I miss probably every other one probably, but I do quite a bit of driving for my 9 to 5, so I listen to Game Over Greggy. I listen to the Rotoscopers. The Rotoscopers are a group of 3 guys that listen, 2 girls and a guy, that talk about all animated movies. They talk into the history of it. They do sort of the complete history on a particular animated movie, and a lot of Disney stuff come up, so I'm always get quite excited about that. Disney Story Origins, very infrequent podcast that tells you about the origins of Disney stories. So that, I absolutely love that. They tell you about what the original story to like The Little Mermaid was, or the original story to Aladdin, and they're incredibly long podcasts, but they are fantastic, and some of them are like 3 or 4 hours long when you put all the segments together. But looking into like the dirty, gritty backstory to some of these original Disney stories are absolutely well done and really well presented. So those 3, and who else would I say I listened to? There was another one I was going to say. Oh yeah, Disney Dream Girls, which is just basically updates on the theme parks, and it's a UK based one. So they talk a lot about Disneyland Paris, which is where I go all the time, and I'm going next month. So yeah, there you go. There's those 3, and I think they're the only podcasts I listen to really regularly. I jump in and out of other ones from time to time. P.S. I Love You and a couple of others. But yeah, they're the main ones. Sorry, actually there is one more. I do listen to Retro Asylum, and I have big binges on Retro Asylum. I listen to like 3 or 4 in a row, and then I listen to like another 3 or 4, and and then I'll forget about it for a couple of months, and I'll watch loads again. So yeah, Retro Asylum, that's definitely another one, and that's a really good one if you're into your retro gaming, which I'm assuming you are if you're on my channel. So yeah, Retro Asylum as well. And there you go, guys. That is it. There wasn't as many this month. I haven't really been that good on asking people to fill it in. I've been so busy working on a big complete history, which I've already said, Grand Theft Auto, and working on the big Wii U videos. So, by the way, if you're interested, the Wii U video is coming along fantastically well. I've had, I think it's close to 500 commenters fill in the survey, so you're going to be able to get a good top, I think it's actually a top 30 games that you guys have actually voted for, and I've also got about 25 so far other YouTubers, all different sizes, big and small, giving their opinions on their favourite games, where Nintendo went wrong, all that sort of thing, and that's going to be coming along with a big collaborative video, hopefully this weekend, by the time that the Switch is released, which I'm also very excited for. Expect to see some videos on that. But for now, this is it for me. So, it's DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Obviously, a huge thanks goes out to all of my Patreons who help make my episodes a reality, with a special shout out going to Ryan Burford, Ian A. Chapman, Phil Lowlins, Blitz Hedgie, Gavin Gurivez, Ben Hall, Taylor Almond, One Life Gaming, and Ted Kimmel. If you want to be part of next month's Q&A, then click the link in the description.